Hello and welcome back to Suspended Information. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I take the genre news of the week and we talk about it and any other genre stuff you guys want to talk about, especially since this week is kind of light on news, which means that probably they got something big coming up next week. Let me take care of some business first, then we'll get to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the very end of this video. You're going to see a video pop up here. Basically, what YouTube does, takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible. One of the videos, my vast video library, and pops up there just for you. Also, if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you get the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule up there. I change it out every week. And also all the links to my social media are on there. Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon. No tiers set up on the Patreon because I'm waiting till I get 1,000 subs because I want to give you something if you're going to give me something. And that's my goal as I hit 1,000 subs there. I also have the link to this this YouTube channel, my Facebook page, and a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. There we go. Excuse me. Welcome, everyone. Thank you, Penn. So let's get to it, shall we? Jamie Foxx is going to be returning as Electro. Remember, he played Electro in Amazing Spider-Man 2 years back? Well, he's going to be returning as Electro again in Spider-Man 3, which may also see a live-action version of the multiverse that we saw in Spider-Man Into the Multiverse. Yeah, he actually kind of leaked some artwork that he wasn't supposed to on Instagram and immediately pulled it. But not before people got a few screenshots, and it looked like there was 3 Spider-Men that were standing there with a pillar of electricity coming from the sky down to New York City, and one of the Spider-Men looked like Miles Morales. Yeah, and Jamie Foxx was saying that his Electro is not blue this time, so it's I guess they've changed out the really stupid looking characterization they did for Amazing Spider-Man 2, and hopefully they don't make him you know what? I'm going to say it. When he was doing Amazing Spider-Man 2, I thought he was actually channeling Wanda. Remember the character he used to play on In Living Color, Wanda? And that's what I felt like his there might be a Tobey Maguire cameo. Yes, Stanley Tweedle. There's been rumors floating around that, Tobey Maguire is coming back for this. That Andrew Garfield might be coming back for this. There's been all kinds of rumors floating around out there. And we know that Into the Spider-Verse is the most well-received Spider-Man movie that's come out, even though it was animated. And so they're capitalizing on this, of course. And supposedly Feige is on board with this now at this point. Who knows what's going on? Again, this is all speculation. Who knows what the fuck is going on until we actually see a movie or a trailer or anything like that. But yeah, we do know that he is actually signed on, though, to play Electro again. It's just, I guess they're going to tweak him a little bit and not make him as stupid as he was in Amazing Spider-Man 2. Again, that whole movie was pretty stupid, so that's the reason why it crashed and burned. I agree with you, Penn. Anything's possible. It's 2020. And yeah. Excuse me. A little phlegmy this morning for some reason. So we got a new actress, Iman Vellani, who has been cast as Kamala Khan, who is also known as Miss Marvel in the Marvel Universe, for the Disney Plus series of the same name, Miss Marvel. Perfect. Yeah, I mean, she's the right age because Kamala Khan's supposed to be in her teens. I haven't seen her before. I don't know, what she's done or anything like that. I know she's Canadian, so we'll see what happens. And yeah, we kind of knew this was coming anyway. They had already announced the directors, the writers, and all that kind of stuff. They are searching for 4 principal other characters that are coming about. I think 2 are villains and 2 are mentors or parental figures kind of thing. I've seen that go out too in the casting, so they haven't gotten that as of yet. So hey, Keith. So yeah, it's some interesting news. Is Kamala Khan Canadian in the comic? I don't know. She might be. I haven't read the comic. I don't know for sure. The only thing I no, actually, I take that back. She's from Jersey. Is in the comic. Is where she's from. Stanley. She is from New Jersey. She's a Jersey girl. I've been playing the Marvel's Avengers. You know, I downloaded that on my PS4, and you start off as Kamala Khan on that. So that's been mainly my introduction to this character. I knew of her, but it was after I kind of left comics, and yeah, and I know that she was geared more towards teens to get teens into comics and stuff like that, and I just had no desire whatsoever. Um, but yeah, you know. um, You don't think she can play an American? Yeah, Stanley. I get you there. Yeah. I know all the appropriation stuff that's been going on about people, actors and actresses can't play certain things and whatnot. But yeah, she can play an American, you know. So the other thing, like I said, this is a really short news week. So it's probably gonna go pretty fast here. So just to let you know. Conan the Barbarian is coming to TV. That's right. It's coming to Netflix, I should say. So the series is in the works over at Netflix, and I couldn't be happier. I really like the Conan series as Robert E. Howard wrote it. There was a short-lived Conan TV series on in the 90s. Is that right? The 90s? Yeah, it was the 90s. And it was a horrible, horrible, horrible thing. And I watched every single episode of it, and it was that horrible. Yeah. Um, yeah. Tatiana Maslany is Canadian and playing She-Hulk. Yes, she is. So, is it Netflix TV? Yeah, Netflix is TV as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. Oh, I'm getting your connection is unstable. Please wait while we try reconnecting. So if I wink out on you here, it's my network. Just so you know, I might get a little unstable. Okay, it looks like everything's fine again. So, uh, I'm really looking forward, honestly, to the Conan TV. They need to get somebody competent on it, though. Yeah, I kind of figured I stuttered for a moment. That's why I stopped for a second. And nope, it wasn't your internet service, Pen. It was me. I saw it. It had a little message above where I'm watching here, and it said that my internet something was going on with it. So I probably have to restart my router again. Yeah. Well, not right now, but at some point in time. Um, so I'm fairly sure that this came about because The Witcher has done so well, and so I know the Netflix executives are like, "Well, Witcher, Conan, same kind of thing, and we'll do that." So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Excuse me. They just need good writers. They need good writers and a good showrunner. Somebody who's actually who's read the books, hopefully, is a fan of the books. And even if they look over the old Marvel comics, like the old Buscema series, when he was over at Marvel, that is also well and good too. When they used to do Conan magazine, so Marvel Comics used to have these gigantic Conan magazines that they put out, and it was all Buscema's artwork. So it was some good stuff. Yeah, you need a decent star too. I exactly. Yeah. If you don't have the right person, if you have someone kind of small, Jason Momoa, and doesn't really inhabit the role all that well, yeah. I don't know why the Jason Momoa one just sucked. I saw that for free, a sneak preview, and everyone was just laughing. Well, also it was in 3D as well, so it was pretty bad. And then Rose McGowan, who was unrecognizable because of all the plastic surgery that she had done. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Savage Sword of Conan did rock, Keith. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. Savage Sword of Conan. So speaking of Savage, Robert Zemeckis did a remake of The Witches, which of course is based on Roald Dahl's book, and that was supposed to come out in theaters. Well, this weekend is what it was supposed to do, but of course, with the pandemic and everything, the pandemic had other plans for it. So what they're doing is they're releasing The Witches straight to HBO Max on October 22nd. Okay. And it's going to come out to international theaters on the 28th, just in time for Halloween. This is the one that is, of course, starring Anne Hathaway in it. And so, yeah, for those of you who have HBO Max, you get to watch it for free. Well, whatever you paid for HBO Max, So there you go. I agree with you, Stanley. Conan is not the most subtle of characters. Well, actually, it depends on what age you get. So I know every movie decides to make him a slave at first, and then that's how he builds up and everything. And it's like, no, Sumerians have always lived free. Conan essentially just leaves his village when he's like a teenager, like in his 16, 17, something like that, and goes out into the world for adventure. That's what Conan's all about. He was not the Sumerians were not taken over, they were not enslaved, nothing like that, nothing in the books. He basically just leaves his village and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go out on adventures, all that kind of shit. And he gets into all kinds of shit. And early on, yes, he is uncouth, he is untrained, and it's all the knowledge that he gains. He becomes a thief at one point, he becomes a pirate. Um, all kinds of stuff. And he runs into all these different adventures. And that's what it's supposed to be about. It's pulp. If someone understands pulp, like, 1930s pulp comics, pulp, serializations, things like that, then they'll get the character of Conan. And then you could do it right for the TV series. So, and yes, the original Arnold movie was great because, again, John Millis, the great John Millis, who is was a film teacher at USC and taught both Spielberg and Lucas. He always said, "Show, don't tell." That's what he said. That was his famous teaching mantra: was "Show, don't tell" in movies, and that's why the first 20 minutes of Conan, he says Crom like about two or three times. That's all Arnold says in the first 20 minutes of Conan. Yeah, that's it. When you see Arnold, I should say. There is exposition beforehand before Arnold comes into the scene there. Yeah. And yeah, I have the director's cut of the first Arnold movie. The director's cut actually adds like 5 minutes of footage into it. It's nothing big. So yeah. But going back to the witches, I'll see it. Damn. Excuse me. All of a sudden, my voice decided to go as bad as my internet there for a second. So, yeah, I'll see the witches. Which witches or which? Which witches ate sandwiches? I don't know. Which witches with sandwiches? Try and say that 5 times fast. I know I can't. No Time to Die has moved yet again and is now scheduled to open on Easter weekend of April 2nd, 2021. Yeah. All right. Sure. Okay. I'm okay with that. Honestly, at this point, just fucking release it VOD. I'll pay the $20. I'll even pay the $30 if you want me to for the last James Bond movie because that's what I want to see. Yeah. I don't mind. I don't need to see it in the theater. I really don't. I'm not going to go to a theater anyway. I'm not going into a theater, until there's a vaccine. There's not going to be a vaccine for at least a year. So just fucking release it VOD, video on demand. I'll pay the money. Okay. I'm a household of one, and I'll be paying $30, which is, 3 times more than what I pay in a movie ticket to go and see it. So there you go. You'll make some money. Yes, I know you spend $100 million on it and you need to get more money, but still. Yeah, Penn. Uh, there's a lot of lies during that whole thing, and I would say the good majority of it, from one side of the room that was happening. So yeah. And as someone who actually works in science, all the people that I know that are working on this are saying at least a year, maybe even 2 years away for that. So yeah. Worst thing I ever watched, worse than wolves. Oh yeah. Yeah, I made it like 3 minutes and I was like, nope, out. I couldn't watch it. So this actually falls within sci-fi fantasy at this point. Fast and the Furious 9 has been moved as well, and it's going to Memorial Day weekend, May 28th, 2021. So I think it's supposed to be in space or something like that now. Fast and Furious 9. It's they're racing jetpacks to Mars or something. I don't remember exactly what the whole plot of it is. Is there a plot anymore? I think it's just, Vin Diesel growling through his lines and then doing something that defies the laws of physics. Yeah. Yeah. No, I was not wrong about agents, Stanley. Uh, do I need a plot for Fast and the Furious 9? No, because I normally just watch it on cable anyway, whenever it comes out. I don't pay for it other than what I pay for my streaming services. So yeah, I'm not gonna bother paying a ticket price. I did still watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I'm not much better for that. As a matter of fact, I think I'm deficited for it because of it. Yeah. There's a few brain cells left. The other ones sacrifice themselves in a bid to save the rest of the brain. Good news, though. Cobra Kai returns on Netflix. Season 3 of Cobra Kai returns on January 8th. We got a new trailer, and we also got news the same day that they've been renewed for season 4 at Netflix as well. So season 3 comes out on January 8th, and season 4 is already a go. You've not seen a single Fast and the Furious movie? You're much better off for it. Yeah, January will be here before we know it. And I'm looking forward to Cobra Kai. If you haven't seen Cobra Kai, the first 2 seasons are up on Netflix right now. Most everyone has Netflix or, uses someone's password or something like that, which you're not supposed to do. But the first 2 seasons are up there and it's really good. And yeah, the way it left off, we definitely need that fucking season 3 now. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, Cobra Kai is awesome. It's really good. It's it's probably the first nostalgia thing, I guess you could say. That nostalgia sequel from the 80s that I've actually liked. That actually made sense. Um that pulled it off very, very well. I don't know of any other show, movie, anything like that that's been done, sequel to it 30 years later. That's pulled it off like this one has. This one just um did an awesome job. Yeah. You've not seen the Karate Kid movies either? Really? How can you not see the Karate Kid movies and then watch the show? I mean, it ties directly in to the show. I mean, those movies. And I mean, I'm talking about Karate Kids 1, 2, and 3. Yes, I know 3 is the bastard stepchild, but it does tie into this, especially with one of the characters that was just introduced in season 2, who might be the daughter of a villain from Karate Kid 3. So, excuse me a second. My phone decided to all of a sudden ring while I'm here online. Some spam call from Michigan. So, yeah. Penn says, I saw the first Karate Kid and maybe 2. Apparently that was enough. I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah. They all do tie in. And they do make sense. You actually do get I don't know how they did it, but they did a really nice continuation of the movies, bringing stuff in from the movies, even little stuff from the movies, and bringing it into the series. And I was actually surprised at how well they did that. And that was like I said, this is the first time I've seen a nostalgia show, nostalgia movie that's actually lived up to what it was supposed to be and felt as good as the original. Yeah. Yeah. You worked without knowing movies, cultural osmosis was enough. Not all the time, Stanley. You miss nuances on things, but I'll leave you with that. Tom Sturridge, I don't know who this guy is in talks to play Dream in the Netflix Sandman series. So the Netflix Sandman series supposedly is getting ready to film. Neil Gaiman has already been, tweeting about it that he's going to be filming this, and now it looks like they're going to cast their Dream character. Okay. I was really hoping Joseph Gordon-Levitt for a while was working on this. He wanted to do the Sandman series, and it didn't go through for him. I know Neil Gaiman, is the creator of the series and is now the showrunner of this, but I kind of wish he'd bring, Joseph Gordon-Levitt into all of this as well. Is it actually filmable? It's a series, Stanley, so we'll see what happens. It's Neil Gaiman too, so it might not be. We'll see. Yeah, American Gods and Omens. Yeah, was it Good Omens? Good Omens. So Good Omens was for me. American Gods, I started to watch it and I was like, I kind of just left it. So yeah, and I heard it had its problems because Gaiman, interjected too much into what was going on. So I know a lot of people loved Good Omens. I did a Is It Worth My Time? Good Omens. Yeah. And it wasn't worth my time, unfortunately. And I gave my reasons for it at the time. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, so one of my favorite books, Pen, is Motherless Brooklyn, which is a great book. It actually won the Pulitzer Prize in 1999, and deservedly so. Ed Norton did the movie for it recently, and pretty much gutted the book. I mean, just gutted the book. What he did was not what the book was, and what he did for the movie was okay. It was a passable movie. It just wasn't the book, and the book is something else entirely. Uh, yeah, and just such a missed opportunity. And the fact that he was sitting on this fucking property for 20 years so that no one else could work on it is just a travesty of film. It really is. Yeah. Um, Agent Future says Gaiman got an American Gods showrunner sacked. Yeah, he did. Well, they also did some shenanigans too in their Agent Future. And if I remember correctly, there's some shenanigans going on. Also, Neil Gaiman was involved, and they finally end up leaving, and or fired, depending on who you listen to. It was a mess of things that happened. And then the second person who came in for American Gods was in there for a hot minute, and he got fired immediately. And then they brought in whoever's doing it now, or whoever did this last one. So yeah. So, yeah. Um, yeah, I'll do this. Why not? I'll do this now because I don't want to end on this one. LA Comic Con is moving forward with an in-person event in December. Why? I mean, we already know what happens when people get together and go to stupid fucking rallies, or large events, indoor events, things like that, where there are a lot of people. Um, just fucking cancel it. Yeah. And also, it's at the LA Convention Center, which is the worst fucking location in the world. You might as well just put it in a war zone. So, no, no. Thanks, but no. Um, I really hope that no one buys any tickets to it and it crashes and burns. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry. Yes, Brian Fuller hasn't finished anything recently. And that's why I was saying he was part of the problem as well. There was stuff going on with him, stuff going on with Gaiman, and yeah, it just, and then also stuff going on with Stars as well. Because Stars is going through their whole, you know what, we're looking for a female demographic and we want shows that are going to bring in female audiences. We don't want to bring in male audiences, which is why Counterpart got canceled, even though it was getting great numbers of viewers, but they were all male, or the majority were male, I should say. Why LA Comic Con can't do it virtually? Because they're trying to I'm fairly sure they're getting pressured from their vendors. They don't want to give the vendors back their money for the booths. They've probably already spent that money, and to set up a virtual connection and stuff like that again costs money, which they've probably already spent, like I said. And so this is the reason why they're going ahead with it. It is cheaper to actually do this in person than to do it online and return people their money. So that's my guess is the reason why they're doing this. But yeah, I'm not going to be going. That's for fucking sure. So Zac Efron is in the news. He is signed on to play Andy McGee. Now, if you don't know who Andy McGee is, then you probably haven't seen Steven Spielberg's Stephen King's the 80 movie Firestarter. Blumhouse is actually remaking Firestarter, and Zac Efron is now going to play her dad, Andy McGee. Yes, that's how old Zac Efron is now. He is playing dad roles. For those of you millennials out there that are going, I'm not old. Yes, you are. Like the rest of us, you're old and getting older. That's what happens. He's already got the dad bod to prove it too. I guess whatever series that he's been doing where he's been traveling around the world kind of thing, he's kind of let himself go a little bit. So yeah. He's still pretty is what Penn says. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, she's Googling him now. Because I said dad bod. Uh-huh. Yeah, I forget what series it is that he's doing now where he's like traveling. I think he's traveling around the world or something like that. I don't know if he's doing it now, of course, because of the pandemic, but he was before. And I guess, yeah. Isn't that a Prodigy song, Traveling Around the World, or Dad Bod? Or you got to be more specific there. So the last thing I have going on here is we have that new Hawkeye series that's supposed to be coming out on Disney Plus. Despite all of Jeremy Renner's domestic problems that he's been going through. And one of the stories that has come out is that Madame Mask will supposedly have a villainous supporting role in the series. Okay, sure. I'm not really a huge Madame Mask fan, nor am I a huge Hawkeye fan, really. But okay, sure. I mean, Madame Mask was more Iron Man than anything else because she was a roboticist. Uh, and she was kind of not really a villain, not really a hero. She kind of was just in it for herself. So I don't know what's going to happen there. Yeah. Penn found it. Down to Earth with Zac Efron. Yeah, I had only heard that it existed, that he was doing a show. That was all I knew. I didn't know what it was called. I didn't know really the gist of it, other than I heard that he'd been traveling around the world or something. But yeah, it was on the periphery of things. Prodigy had a Firestarter. Yes, there was. Yeah, I'm a Firestarter, Twisted Firestarter. Yes, I know which one you're talking about. That's a different thing, and it's not titled that. It's that's Smack My Bitch Up, or not even that. It's called something else now. Battle Flag. That's what it's called. It's called Battle Flag. I used to have that album. That's why, Stanley. So that Prodigy song is called Battle Flag. And yes, the line in there is I'm a fire starter. I'm a twisted fire starter is in there. Yes. But it's not the title of the song. You made me have to access memories from the 1990s. And those are spotty at best. As I said, I had the CD to it. So there you go. So that's all I got news wise. Like I said, it was a very slow news week. Very slow news week. Wikipedia begs to differ. Okay. Well, yeah, Wikipedia is made up by other people, so I don't know. Maybe it's a Mandela effect. Ah, like Berenstain Bears, that kind of thing. That Sinbad was in Shazam. All that kind of stuff. Yeah. So what are you guys watching now? I mean, I just finished the last season of Chef here, that John Favreau show. And it's kind of funny. Remember I was telling you that every season of Chef, John Favreau is bringing in people that he was working with all the time. And this season he did not. And it was a decided shift. You could see it was a shift in the series. And I think the Disney execs all were like, fuck you, stop bringing the people in and giving away all the secrets. And so what they've done now is he was going to different restaurants and just he wasn't bringing any celebrities with him now at this point. He was just going to famous restaurants and cooking with them. That's what he was doing in this season, which I thought was pretty funny. Yeah. New season of anime just started, just anime in general, Philip. Still watching TNG and The Vow. Is that the episode name, or is that a series called The Vow? I don't know offhand. I just found on Stirred. So Stirred is a free streaming service that you can watch. They have a channel dedicated to nothing but Space 1999. So I've just been having Space 1999 on in the background, uh, as I'm working or doing whatever, and it's been awesome. Yeah. Oh, Carmen Sandiego in on Netflix, Asian Future. Interesting. Yeah, I knew that series was out. What was I watching? Oh, it was something on Stirred. It was I want to say it was Blackjack or something like that. It was an anime series, and one of the characters looked like Carmen Sandiego as she's driving the car, and I'm like, "There's Carmen Sandiego. That's where she is. I don't know where in the world she is, but she's right there." Um, Philip Ademic says the fall season of shows, so lots of new shows to watch. Stanley Tweedle says docu-series about the Nexium cult, the Allison Mack cult, as I call it. Yeah. Yeah, I really love how Kristen Kruk just completely distanced herself from that, going, I didn't bring her in. I don't know what you're talking about. I had nothing to do with it. Yeah. It's like, yeah, you were in it like early on before Allison Mack, and you just kind of slipped your chains and got out just before shit was going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if she was higher up the food chain than that, but neither here nor there. Stanley Tweedle says Utopia will be here at the end of October. Oh, okay, that is kind of strange that it's taken that long. Good stuff though. I'm just tell you that, Stanley. It is good. It's worth the watch. It's brutal though. It is very brutal. So if you're not used to the brutality, it's yeah. Philip Adamic says I'm watching The Vow because they are 15-mile drive from my apartment. Oh, okay. So you're showing solidarity for them filming so close to you. It's kind of funny. Contagion, the Matt Damon movie. Matt Damon. That was filmed in San Francisco when I still lived in San Francisco at the time, and I remember walking through. So the scene where they have a whole bunch of people like laid out in the plaza, I walked through that scene when they were setting up for that. This is what was going on. I kind of, because I saw a still for it, and I was like, oh yeah, I walked through that scene one day. I was just, it was my normal cut through in order to get to, the other plaza. I was actually looking also for the farmer's market because the farmer's market was usually there at the time, and they preempted the farmer's market, the fuckers. And yeah. So speaking of pandemic stuff, Stanley says I saw episode 1 of Utopia. The pandemic stuff is a little much for 2020. I can't really say too much more, Stanley, other than stick with it. It's worth it. It is worth it. Even with the pandemic stuff, if it makes you yeah. So it's not just about the pandemic. That's all I'm going to say. Or a pandemic. That's all I can say without giving away anymore. If you want to be spoiled by it, I do have it up on. Excuse me, is it worth my time? I did that one already. I did want to get one of those paper mache rabbit heads and walk around campus as Mr. Rabbit. I was wondering how, who would actually get it and who wouldn't. Put on a suit and just walk around. But I don't think that would have gone over too well. HR probably would have tackled me on the lawn or something like that if that happens. I thought about it though. Trying to think what else I'm watching here, if anything. Finish off Raised by Wolves. Fuck. Yeah, fuck that shit. We're getting ready to finish off The Boys, of course. Not too much else, quite honestly. Yeah, Stanley, that is actually pretty funny in the episode where the comic nerds will look down on the conspiracy people. Well, I mean, you do have factions. It does. That was one thing that was actually fairly accurate. Is you do have factions within a comic fandom, and one faction will look down on another faction within that fandom, and vice versa. So I mean, it does happen. I mean, and it even happens with movies too and stuff like that. You have people that are shipping certain things, and they, yeah. So it does happen, and I thought that was fairly accurate. Yeah, they did a good job of that. I played D&D and looked down on LARPers. Well, as you should. I don't know. LARPers are just a completely different animal. Sorry, I'm just trying to get a little comfortable here. My leg decided to go to sleep for a second. So there we go. Much better. Side saddle. That's the way to go. Well, rather than pad this out any further, I'm going to let you guys go. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down there. Also, if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you can hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do, go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule that's up there. And also all the links to my social media. So Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon. And until then, let me say what's going on next here. Tomorrow will be Lovecraft Country. Monday I'll be off. Tuesday will be Is It Worth My Time? It's the Netflix series Away, which stars Hilary Swank and has people going to Mars. Wednesday I'll be off. Thursday will most likely be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? I don't know what I'm going to do as of yet. I might do an old throwback movie or TV series or something like that. I'm not doing Space 1999, even though I've been watching a shitload of it lately, but that's a little too obvious at this point. Friday will be The Boys, of course, and then Saturday we roll back around again to Saturday Morning Blast Off. So until tomorrow, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may just find it's a really slow news week, and you got to really dig for that news and find out what's going to happen, because you got to entertain the people somehow. Thanks, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. Until then, stay safe, be well, and take care, everyone. Have a good rest of your day.